Hi, everybody. It's Bailey. Welcome. I'm so glad for you to be joining me today. We're going to be talking about eliminating your limiting beliefs. So I know that time is something that we can't get back, and I'm going to make sure that our webinar today is short, it's actionable. Most of my webinars are like 20, 30 minutes tops. What I really want is for you to be able to use what I'm going to be sharing with you today. That makes all the difference. So on today's webinar, this is what we're going to be focusing on limiting beliefs, why they keep us small and hold us back from fulfilling our true potential. We'll be focusing on how to uncover and eliminate these limiting beliefs, the ones that aren't really serving you anymore. And then most importantly, we're going to be working on creating a mindset that's going to help you to feel confident and powerful so that you can take your next steps forward. So a little bit of housekeeping for today. I'm going to be spilling the beans on a lot of helpful tips to really get you connected with your belief systems as well as the limiting beliefs that aren't working for you anymore. So that being said, I really recommend that you dig up some paper or pen or even Evernote, whatever you use to jot down, things that come up during the webinar that resonate with you. Another thing, just kind of a disclaimer, if you will, is that we're going to be diving deep today and having kind of a level 4 type of conversation. And my clients know what this means. This means that we're beyond the small talk, the chit chat, the blah, blah, blah. We're going to be really rolling up our sleeves and diving deep to talk about real life, real life, real stuff today. So our Lunch and Learn webinar is all about the belief systems, all about the difference between thoughts and beliefs and how to make these belief systems change so that they're working for you, right? So in our work today, I'm going to start by introducing myself, and then I'm going to dive in deep into the belief systems that aren't working for you anymore and how to make that change. All right. So a little bit about me. So as I introduced myself from the start, my name is Bailey Furman. I'm a psychotherapist and life coach, and I help ambitious women to really discover their purpose and create a clear roadmap to achieve their goals. I think what tends to set me apart from other life coaches is my 10 years experience as a psychotherapist. And I feel that my experience gives me the unique ability to dive in with you 100%, knowing that we can figure it out. We can figure out what's not working for you and why, so that you can get on the fast track to really living that life that you have been meant for. Other fun things to know about me is that I'm a new mama to little Phoebe. She is 8 months old and crawling like an Olympian. I swear she's ready for the long jump next week. I'm also a big time traveler. My husband and I have been to nearly 30 countries and counting. In fact, I'm planning on Iceland in the new year to be the next stamp on my passport. So a little bit of my story began back in 2012. So at that time, I was working like a crazy woman, 80 hours a week, feeling overwhelmed and really unsure of what I wanted in life. I knew that I wasn't happy with where I was in my life, but I really didn't have a clue about what I wanted next. At the time, I was really feeling like I had done all the right things in life, graduated with a 4.0, stepped into a career that most people would be excited about. Even I bought a house by 27, but I still wasn't happy. Well, we all have our breaking points, our aha moment, the point of our journey where we become really aware that things need to change, and that change needs to happen now. For me, my wake-up call came after I spent a full month away and unplugged from my desk. And at the time, my husband and I had traveled to Bali for our honeymoon. And after nearly 5 weeks of living life on my own terms, I knew that I couldn't go back to living my life like a to-do checklist. I couldn't go back to waking up on Monday and really wishing it was Friday. So for me, I had to get past my fears to find clarity and to discover my true purpose in the world. So now it is my mission to help other women, other ambitious, driven women, to find that clarity, to find that confidence, and most importantly, find the purpose that they have in the world. And we do that through lifestyle design. So for our webinar today, I'm going to talk to you about belief systems, and most importantly, the effect that belief systems have on our potential, even those limiting beliefs, and how they keep us small. But I'm going to start with a little story. So the story that I want to tell you is about me, about when I was feeling stuck, uncertain, and powerless. So back in that 2012 time, a few years ago, I was at like a little gift shop and browsing through some motivational cards. The ones they're square and they have inspirational quotes on them from like Winston Churchill, Mother Teresa, all the inspirational, powerful people. Deepak Chopra. Well, anyway, I saw one quote and it really pissed me off. And it was, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And at the time, I read it and I thought to myself, I hate this quote. I totally hate this quote. Even now, like remembering back to that moment when I was feeling that frustration, I can feel it, right? Well, the reason that I hated that quote was that at the time, I knew that it was right. That whether I thought that I could do something or that I thought that I couldn't do something, I was right either way. And I was right because I was feeling really stuck. I was incredibly stuck in my job, in my personal life. I was feeling really uncertain about what I wanted to do next. I wasn't sure how to make a change or even like what needed to change. But what I did know was that the feeling of being stuck was all on me. It felt like I was in this little prison that I made all by myself. And it was all my fault that I was in that prison. But I also like kind of had that whisper that if I was going to get out of my prison, I couldn't just wait for somebody to be like, oh yeah, Bailey, we're going to spring you free. Like, no, I had to be the one to escape my own prison that I made, right? So I'm sure that you've been there, right? Because we've all been there at some point or another. Maybe you're even there right now, right? But we think to ourselves, I'm stuck and I have no idea what to do next. Well, that quote of whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's practically tattooed on my soul because it's so stinking true. And the reason is that our belief systems, they're driving the ship. What we believe about who we are, what we believe about what we can accomplish, what we believe about how much we can grow. It's all determined on what we believe is possible. So thinking about something, it's not enough. It's about wanting it so badly and believing it with your whole heart that you can have it and that you can make it happen. That's the difference. So I'm not sure if you read the book, Think and Grow Rich, but I really enjoy that book. They say like it's an industry standard, whatever. But anyway, Napoleon Hill, he is a great guy. And it's written of the language of the time, but Napoleon Hill, one of his big things was that he wanted to show stories of people who had a passion, a burning desire, and what they were able to make possible. So one of his quotes, and I'll read it to you directly, I love it. It's that there is one quality that one must possess to win, and that is definiteness. The definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. Well, this is huge, right? Because without that burning desire represents our belief system. It represents what we think is true. And what Napoleon Hill said is true. We need to know what we want, and we need to believe so strongly in ourselves that it feels that there's no alternative but success. There's also an important distinction to be made between thinking and believing, right? Our thoughts, they're subjective. They're based on our circumstances, our environment. They're even based on other people around us. Oftentimes our thoughts just they simply pop up, and many of the thoughts kind of like leave us without making much of an impression on our lives. But beliefs play by a whole different set of rules. Beliefs are big. For better or for worse, our belief systems are woven into the tapestry of who we are, right? So thoughts, just think of them as like impermanent, right? They just flutter in, they flutter back out. Sometimes they like stick around for a little while because we all have like that stinking thinking, right? But they're kind of like they're on the move. Thoughts, beliefs are as real as our skin, right? And so therefore, when I said before that thinking about something or even wishing for something to happen, like it doesn't create as big of an impact as believing or accepting and expecting something to happen with such a strong conviction that you can't imagine any other possibilities. So I want you to think about it. What in your life do you believe to be absolutes? So the things that you believe to be real and true about who you are and how you experience the world. So just think of the first few things that come to mind. So these can be beliefs about how much money that you want to make, where you can live, even like the kind of partner or friends that you deserve. Even what a person like believes themselves to be, right? So think about these beliefs that we have. Just let them float up, pop up. And the first few ones that come into mind, don't judge them, right? We get stuck often as ambitious women, that we get held up and stuck by these beliefs that pop up and we're like, ah, and judging the crap out of ourselves. Don't. Just let them register, right? What I want you to do now is look at those beliefs real quick. What of those beliefs do you like? And which ones do you want to change, right? So that's how we can start to determine the beliefs that are limiting are the beliefs that we see that we want to change. So a little aside for you and a heads up about change. Get a little water. Okay, so I'm asking you to come up with beliefs that you have about yourself, right? We said that they could be beliefs around how much money you can make, where you can live, the kind of friends you can have, whatever comes to mind, right? But the thing of it is that you can decide that you want to make a change, but we really don't change unless we're uncomfortable enough to change. So that means that we can feel uncomfortable and still be tolerating. There are a lot of things that we tolerate, right? We tolerate dating someone who's not good enough for us. We tolerate, not feeling healthy enough. We tolerate not enough sleep. We tolerate like feeling stuck or uncertain. We even tolerate not making enough money. The list goes on, right? There's stuff that we tolerate and we just put up with, but we're not uncomfortable enough to change. Change only happens when we've had enough, right? When we are absolutely too uncomfortable to go on living how we are and we need to do something about it. So don't beat yourself up for even 1 minute if you are unhappy right this moment, right? It happens. We're right. I already shared with you. I had everything that you could possibly imagine having, and I was really not happy. And probably at the time, definitely pissed off at myself for not being happy with having, the house, the job, the guy, all that stuff, right? But our belief systems affect that sense of happiness. And we're only going to change when we've had enough. When we're absolutely too uncomfortable to go on living how we are, and we need to do something about it. So again, don't beat yourself up if you are unhappy, but you're not quite willing to change. Because the truth is that you can sleep in a bed with a nail in it, right? A nail floating around in there, you can sleep on that. You could even sleep in a bed that has 3, 4, 5 nails in it, just floating around in there. But you absolutely cannot sleep in a bed that has 20 pounds of nails in it, right? So we only change when we are absolutely so stinking uncomfortable that we can't even tolerate what we've been tolerating, and it's time to change. So if you have those first 2 steps down, right? The first one being that you can identify your belief systems that need to change. And the second, that you are ready to change. Are you ready to learn what holds you back from changing, right? Well, it's your ego. So my clients laugh that I talk a lot about the ego. And I think that goes back to, as I shared with you, my psychotherapy background, right? I like to put on my therapist hat once in a while. But the ego is a big part of things. It's what holds us back the most from changing, right? So we've identified what needs to change. We're ready to change, and that change isn't happening. Why? Well, it's our ego. So our ego likes to sit on the couch. It likes to feel oh so comfortable hanging out on the couch that anytime you challenge the ego and you say, hey, ego, like giddy up, it's time to change, the ego does not want to get off the couch, right? Anytime you challenge the ego to make a change, to get off the couch, to take off the sweatpants, to put on the stilettos, the ego is going to fight you. And it fights you because it loves being on the couch. It loves being on the couch, watching crappy TV, like eating Cheetos, staying exactly where it pleases. Right? I have one of my clients that we think about the ego as like the Mucinex guy, right? That even if you aren't happy, the ego likes to be exactly where it is because where you are in life is a known entity to the ego. And even if it's not that great, it likes to stay exactly where it is, right? Even if my couch is super uncomfortable, I know that couch. Right? I don't know those other couches. I don't know what else is out there in the world for me. But I know this pair of sweatpants. I know this couch. I know this bag of Cheetos. I know this crappy TV. And the ego wants to hang out there. But once you've decided to change, so right, we said step one, identifying the belief systems that need to change. Step two, deciding to change. Seems like a small one, but it's a big one. Your ego, once this happens, is going to start shouting all sorts of nasty stuff at you, right? And it shouts all these nasty things because it thinks that if it's mean enough, maybe your wants, your desires, those things that you're, dreaming about, that they'll just go away, right? Because if those wants and dreams, they just go away, the ego can go back to its regularly scheduled programming and Cheetos. The crap that your ego is shouting at you is all of your limiting beliefs. It's your fears, it's your worries, it's even those what ifs that pop up. So these limiting beliefs hold us back from reaching our full potential. These limiting beliefs, they make us believe that it's not possible. Right? So think about that crap that you believe sometimes. And I say crap just in a funny way to kind of startle us and make us think like, what is it that I believe that kind of sucks that I believe it? So I was jamming with one of my girlfriends the other day and we were talking about industries, you might know them, where men make more money than women for doing the exact same job, right? And it's like, sometimes we accept it and it sucks. It's like, it just so sucks. But for some reason, it's often our limiting beliefs. That's what we believe that we deserve. And I know it sounds really super old school, but it does still exist. It really does. So all that stuff that the ego is shouting at you, those limiting beliefs, the fears, the worries, the what ifs, the I shoulds, right? They hold us back from reaching our full potential. Our limiting beliefs make us feel that it's not possible, it's out of our reach. They even make us think like, who am I to want to make my dreams come true, right? It's a head game. It's totally a head game. I often talk about going into the basement. So here's the good stuff. Going into the basement. This is where the magic happens. Because going into the basement, that's where the limiting beliefs live. In the basement, hanging out with your ego, they're all down there, right? So if you want to make a change, this is big. This is the take home. Like if you want to make a change and start living the life that you are meant to, you are going to need to get a flashlight and go into the basement. That's the deal, right? Because I've seen plenty of women, myself included, create something, right? We make things happen. That's what we do. As ambitious women, that's what we do. But you can only grow so much if the foundation isn't there. And that's going into the basement. right? So if we want to, like, let's just say for fun, we want to create an empire, right? Think of it like a house of cards. We're only going to grow maybe 2 or 3 layers and like kind of be capped off there. And everyone's like, oh, it's a glass ceiling. It's a glass ceiling. It's not the glass ceiling. It's that you never went in the basement to make sure that everything's good down there before you can grow really, really big, right? Because it's that stuff in the basement that keeps us tethered, that keeps us small, that keeps us believing that we're only as big as that glass ceiling, right? So if you want to change, you need to get a flashlight and go into the basement. It's about shining that light on what's not working for you, uncovering those limiting beliefs, uncovering those fears, and cleaning up the basement. Because if we don't choose to look those limiting beliefs in the eye, to clean up down there, go through the boxes, see what's going on in the basement, bust out the broom, get some Windex or whatever you need to do. You got to clean up the basement. If we don't kick those limiting beliefs to the curb, they're not going anywhere. And they're just going to continue to grow bigger and bigger until they feel insurmountable, right? Because like I said, ambitious women, we are driven. We can make things happen. There's no doubt about that. But if we've got this stuff in the basement that's holding us back, we're not going anywhere, right? And if we are, we're going really slow and we're not getting the results that we want. So as a coach, I help my clients to make big things happen. And they will all tell you that that happens, right? But they'll also tell you that they've learned that you can't climb to the top of a mountain. You can't make your dreams and goals happen if you've got a backpack weighed down by a bunch of crap that's no longer serving you. And those are the limiting beliefs, right? So think of each of your limiting beliefs like a rock, right? So who we think that we deserve as friends, who we think we deserve as a partner, how much money we think that we can make, where we think we can live, how many trips or travels or vacations that we think we can take. Throw it all in there, right? The type of clothes that we can wear, the car we can drive. Throw all those in there, and you've got a big backpack full of rocks. So it's going to take you a lot longer to get where you want to go if you've got a big backpack full of rocks, right? It's going to take you a lot longer than if you were able to move freely and untethered. So those are some really important points to think about. So we know first, it's about identifying the belief systems that we have, and especially the ones that aren't working for us. 2, being ready to change, right? Feeling that readiness for change, knowing that we are uncomfortable enough, we're done tolerating the crap, and we're ready for that next step. And then the 3rd is to grab a flashlight and hop into the basement. Of course, I'm a big fan of going to the basement not alone. So if you're going to head down into the basement, to me, I always think it's good to take somebody with you. That's what I coach my clients on, is going down there and sorting things out, right? Because anytime, even if we're cleaning out our closet, it's much more fun to do with like a girlfriend, and probably a glass of wine too. But it's much more fun to do it with support than it is to do it alone. I'm a big believer in the power of visualization. In fact, our brain thinks in pictures. So before we close out our webinar for today, I want to guide you through a little visualization. So since our brain thinks in pictures, it's essential that we start to change the way that we look at our life and then change the way that we visualize what we want in our life. So as a little bonus, we're going to go through a little visualization. Just a few minutes. So if you're busy or you're texting or doing anything, just shut it off, shut it down, put everything aside, and just listen to my voice, close your eyes, and we're going to just start to create a little visualization about your ideal day. So breathing deeply, closing your eyes, I will just simply be your guide. I'm going to guide you through unlocking some of your deepest desires so you can begin to get the clarity that you are craving. So visualize yourself living the life that you're meant to lead. So, breathing deeply, I want you to be open to dropping any expectations or judgments that you have of yourself. And give yourself a few minutes to just totally be open and connected. Don't expect yourself to figure out all the answers. Just allow yourself to be in a place of receiving and accepting whatever comes up for you. Let's take another beautiful deep breath. Close the eyes, releasing any tension from the shoulders, from the head, from the neck, and just settling in. I want you to picture yourself beginning your day, looking around the room. Where are you? As you start your day, you head into the kitchen to feed yourself, or perhaps someone's cooking for you. What do you eat? In your ideal day, you want to experience life in a way that allows you to feel exactly how you want to feel. So even as you have your first meal of the day, feed yourself with respect, with love, and with consideration of having a connection with how you want to feel. So as you leave the house to start your work day, or if you work from home, preparing yourself to begin to do the work that you're meant to do with purpose, with drive. Even when you woke up this morning, you beat the alarm clock because you're just so stinking excited to do the work that you are meant to do. Breathe into it. When you think about it, where do you work? What do you do? Are you on a team? Do you work alone? Are you a leader? Are you making something, creating something, guiding others? And in your work, are you at a desk? Are you interacting with the public? Are you going on site? Are you home? Allow whatever comes up for you to just come up, see it, and feel it. How do you feel when you're doing the work that you are meant to do? How do you feel when you are fulfilling your purpose? As the workday closes, you're off to spend some time with loved ones. Who's there? Is it your friends? Is it coworkers? Is it your family, children, your partner? Who is there? Who can you bring into your life that's going to continuously make you feel exactly the way that you want to feel? Whether it's strong, capable, loved, empowered, connect. Breathing deeply, you come to the close of your day. Finishing your day, slipping on your jammies, hopping into bed. You open your journal. You date it for a date somewhere in the future. And you write 3 things that you are most grateful for. 3 things that make you feel awake, alive, connected, happy, abundant, fulfilled, open. However you want to feel. Once you wrote those 3 things, you close the book feeling an immense sense of satisfaction. Turning off the light, laying your head down, and going to sleep. So breathe deeply and exhale. Begin to flutter your eyes open. Back to joining us. Would you believe that we only did our little visualization for 5 minutes, right? Just 5 minutes. Sometimes that's all it takes to get reconnected to how you want to feel and how you want to experience life. Because again, our belief systems, they're the tapestry of our soul. They're guiding the ship. And we do have the power to make those changes. We have to be able to identify our belief systems, be willing to change, and hop into the basement, sort out what's down there, right? But the cherry on top is doing a visualization activity, a visualization exercise, which I'm going to send you guys a recording of today. So you can do this 5-minute visualization anytime that you want. That visualization allows our brain to think in pictures. Even the beliefs that we have about ourselves, they are deep down pictures that are in our basement. Whether we think that we can or we think that we can't, we're right. So maybe you've been struggling with feeling uncertain. Maybe you've been feeling overwhelmed, really not sure what to do next. Maybe you're even feeling sick and tired of feeling the way that you do, right? Sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've been there, and I'm here for you now. I believe that ambitious women are powerful, powerful forces of nature. And that once that we've discovered our purpose and have the clarity to know what we want, we're pretty darn unstoppable. So if this sounds like what you've been looking for, I'm here. I'm open. I'm happy to talk. I'm going to send you over the recording as I shared, and I'm also going to send you over a link so that you can book in for a complimentary call with me if you're feeling that would serve you. If you're feeling like, I don't know what's going on and I need to get in the basement, well, I've got the flashlight and I'm happy to go down there with you. And we can definitely connect and help you to figure out the next steps that you need to take to escape this overwhelm and begin to live life on your own terms. So thank you so much for joining me for our little lunch and learn today. For my UK crew, dinner and learn. And don't forget that you aren't alone at all. And if you feel ready and committed to make a change in your life, I can show you how. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great day.